We're fine. Let's work with it like this. Let's see how it looks. Hey, Alfred Scott, let's see how it looks. Open it up a little bit and we get a little more light. We're making adjustments again. My name is Albert Jones, I'm farm director with Arkansas Land. Yes, that's good. A little more if you can. I'd like to thank everyone. Yes, that's good. That's good. Let's have the audience just need to close that a little bit. Is that good? Just need to close it a little bit. Somebody, I'm going to let the audience decide. Just close it a little bit. I'll be by the podium. Just you'll be about the podium, and I'll stop moving. Okay. Okay. Again, my name is Albert Jones. I'm with Arkansas Land. I would like to thank everyone for coming to our community economic development meeting for Holly Grove, Arkansas. A couple of housekeeping duties we need to get out of the way real quick. The restrooms are straight ahead to the left, women and men. Okay. With that being said, does everyone in the audience have a program? Does everyone have a program? The program looks like this right here. Okay. Excuse me for that delay, but the program agenda is in the chat box, correct, Mr. Tucker? Our colleague Michael Tucker is our farm advisor and information technology person who assists us with running the Zoom machine for us. Due to the uptick or uprise in COVID in Monroe County, a number of people who were going to be here in person were instructed that they had to do it virtually. So therefore, that's why we were checking everyone's temperature at the door, checking everyone's temperature at the door, and had hand sanitizer there. COVID is still here. For those who are here, we will follow the agenda. And my name is Albert, as I stated earlier. The welcome will be by Alderman Scott in place of and sitting in for the Honorable Mayor Lula Tyler, who had a previous engagement that she had to be there personally. Alderman Scott, would you come give us a Holly Grove welcome, please?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rosalind Scott. I'm an alderman with the city of Holly Grove now for 4 years. And I plan to run for another 2-year term this November. On behalf of the mayor, the Honorable Mayor Lula Tyler, I would like to welcome all of you to our first Arkansas Land and Community Development Corporation meeting. I believe you're going to get a lot out of it as far as information about money and grants that are available for our area. So I'm glad you all are in attendance. This is a really good crowd, good number of people. So I think it's going to be a good meeting, and I think it's going to be beneficial, not only to us who are here, but to others that we share with on the outside. Again, I would just say welcome.
Thank you.
It appears that there are about 25 individuals that are here on site with us. And last time I looked, when we started at 2 o'clock, we had about 12 to 15 people online. With that being said, Dr. King, are you there? Dr. Kavanaugh King? Dr. King, is he there, Mike? Is he online? We're searching to see if he's there. If not, I'll give you an overview of Arkansas Land Community Development Corporation. We're located in Monroe County. And one of the things about Monroe County is that it's a large county. Mike, was he online? It's a large county. And we're on the far northwest side of the county itself. And we're located in Fargo, Arkansas. How many of you know where Fargo, Arkansas is? Okay. Fargo, Arkansas is in the northwest. I see my colleagues coming in there. We have staff that are coming in. But, and Dr. King's asking, giving you an overview. In Fargo, Arkansas, we've been doing farm meetings with Black landowners for over 100 years. The site, not us, the site itself. The site was founded in 1919 by Dr. Floyd Brown Sr. And Dr. Brown was selling Booker T. Washington's book. He had been trained at Tuskegee University in Alabama. And he had started that college. Well, Booker T. Washington had started the college. Dr. Floyd Brown was a student of his, and in 1919, Booker T. Washington had expired. And Floyd Brown, one of his former students from Mississippi, was selling his books. And when he got off the train in Fargo, he liked the spot, and what Booker T. Washington was talking about and had trained Dr. Brown in was helping yourself, pulling your own self up from the ground, and working with farm and utilizing the land. Since that was what Black people at the time had, land. So he fell in love with the spot in 1919 and built a school for colored people. At that time, it wasn't integration, and we didn't have a place to go to school. You went to an 8th grade, and I see Ms. Brooks from Mariana, where I'm from, and in Mariana, Anna Strong was the individual who did it. And in Forest City, it was Lincoln. But after 8th grade, you didn't have a high school to go to. So Floyd Brown incorporated that education at the site in Fargo and went on up until the 12th grade. And he had an on-campus school. And we're physically located on that site. Arkansas Land Farm Development Corporation came back to that site in 1980, and we reclaimed it through a tax process. Mike, is Dr. King, has he come back on? Is he on? But going on about the story, in 1980, we reclaimed it. We were founded in the early 1980s on Black land retention, or Blacks keeping the land that they have. And one of the things that we're still doing now, and one of the reasons Holly Grove became The reason we're in Holly Grove today is Ayers property. There is still a large amount of Black landowners in this part of Monroe County, okay? And we are working with Black landowners, and we came to let you know that we're still working in Ayers property. The Department of Agriculture Farm Service Agency has a new program that was in the 2018 Farm Bill, which will allow you or assist you in buying other areas out. With that being said, we went on to become Arkansas Land and Community Development Corporation, which is an offshoot, or it is a program service delivery of Arkansas Land Farm Development Corporation. ALCDC is our asset or parent company. We're the Arkansas Land and Community Development Corporation, ALCDC. It is the program service side. With that being said, I just saw one of my colleagues come in, and I'd like to bring up our Chief Financial Officer, Miss got stuck. Miss Miller. I would like her to come up and say a couple of words and just welcome you guys again and let you know that she's here as far as the management overall. And we want to let you know that we do appreciate you coming and hearing us. And that, with that being said, here's Miss Miller.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Mr. Jones stated, my name is Lashika Miller. I've been with the organization for about 12 years. And we are excited to be in the city of Holly Grove today. We want to extend our program. We want everybody to know what it is that we do. You know, how can we help you? How can we help you grow? What are the situations and the problems that you may be experiencing here in Holly Grove? And how can ALCDC help you solve those? And so we have a youth program. I know youth program is not on the agenda, but even now we are having our youth program. It's in session now. We have about 30 kids. So it might be something that you may be interested in for your kids or grandkids next year or something like that. We host 30 kids. 20 of them are in the 13 to 15-year-old range, and they do a 2-week camp, and they receive a stipend of up to $300. Our 16 to 18-year-olds, they do a 6-week work experience where they actually work, and we actually partner with USDA where we place some of our youth within their offices, and it's a great experience. Actually, I have 2 sons that have benefited from the program. One of my sons is an 1890 scholar. He's attending UAPB. Well, both of my sons attend UAPB, but both went through the program at ALCDC. I actually have a daughter that went through the program at ALCDC, and she's going to Philander Smith. So it's a great program. If you all have any kids between the ages of 13 to 18-year-olds, do not forget about us. We want them, and we hope that they want to come and be with us. All right, I'm gonna turn it back over.
Thank you so much, Ms. Miller. I would just like to also acknowledge some of the elected officials we have in. First, I'd like to thank Alderman Scott for assisting us with this program. Would you hold your hand up, Alderman Scott? And then we have another alderman, the alderman who came in working his garden. What's your name, sir? Alderman Hart. I'd like to thank you so much for coming, Alderman Hart. We also have joining us from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Ms. Powell. Ms. Powell, would you hold your hands up? Ms. Powell is involved also. And then we have our additional staff members. We have our farm advisor, Mr. Michael Tucker. Would you hold your hand up? Farm advisor, youth person. We have in the back staff from Fargo. We have Ms. Brianna James. Would you hold your hand up? And then we have Ms. Aisha Sanders, Isa Sanders. Would you hold your hand over there, can see you? And then we have Miss Diamond. Miss Diamond, would you hold your hand up? Does everyone here have a program? And at the end of each session, instead of waiting to the final part, we're going to have a Q&A. After each presenter comes, we'll have a Q&A to follow immediately. All right, we're about to get started. We have in Miss Dorinda Applewhite's absenteeism. We have Miss Hancock, the district conservationist from the United States Department of Agriculture, NRCS. She's in Hazen, Arkansas, but she has roots to Eastern Arkansas, a huge degree of roots. Her husband, Mr. Hancock, was from Forest City. Ms. Hancock, are you on there? Ms. Gwen Hancock? I see her name.
Can you hear me?
Are you? She say
Can you hear
something?
me?
Yeah, I can't see. You got to turn your camera on, Ms. Hancock.
Oh, my video is down. I'm
Oh,
using a
your
machine
video
without
now.
video.
All right. Our first presenter, Ms. Gwen Hancock, she has problems with her video. She is from the Department of Agriculture. And Ms. Hancock, you can give a bit additional information on yourself.
I'm from Wabaseka originally, born and raised. I'm a graduate of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I've been working with the agency over 30 years. My first assignment started out in Kansas. I was there for about 15 years, and then I came back to the state. I started in McGee, down in the southeast part of the state, and I've been here for about 3 years. And I think I'm supposed to present to you today with the Natural Resources Conservation Service, looking at the agenda, micro urban farming conservation programs. I was notified on yesterday that Miss Dorinda wouldn't be here. I'm sure that's who you guys would really prefer to have, but I would do my best. The USDA NRCS is what you probably we're known as, which stands for the Natural Resources Conservation Service. And if I use those acronyms during my presentation, please forgive me. What we do, we help farmers, landowners, producers care for their natural resources on their land: soil, water, air, plants, and animals. NRCS provide technical and financial assistance to growers in soil health, which means we can advise urban growers on things like what a cover crop to grow, using their soil tests and soil surveys. We can provide irrigation and water conservation. We can help urban growers conserve water by assisting with things like drip irrigation. Weeds and plants, we can help with pests and weeds management by planting buffers for beneficial insects through mulching, using cover crops and various other means. We do high tunnels. You might also know them as hoop houses. We provide financial assistance for high tunnels used for extending the growing season and to protect plants from harsh weather. Now, Dorinda didn't tell me I had to have a full-blown presentation. I do apologize, because what she actually wanted you guys to know is there are some new programs. You're probably all familiar with EQIP, the Environmental Quality Incentive Program. That is our cost assistance program. That's where we provide financial and technical assistance to install conservation practices on your land. And they're in Monroe County. I know Monroe County, St. Francis County. not all counties are involved in the one she was talking about, which is the East Arkansas Delta Regional Conservation Partnership Program, and is known as the RCPP. It's for St. Francis, Phillips, Monroe, Lee, and Lee County. And what this is technical assistance provided for agriculture producers who wants to work with NRCS and East Arkansas Enterprise Community to develop a voluntary conservation plan. It provides technical and financial assistance to all eligible producers and landowners, including social disadvantaged producers and landowners in 4 select strike forest counties to improve their resource management cropping system. And this program right now, everything we have now is pretty much either funded or being funded for this year. So what you would do is you have to sign up this year, and next year probably provide funding. All our programs are voluntary. They're all continuous. And there's a cutoff date that we have once a year where we come together and rank all applications. Now, as far as the urban, micro and urban, I mentioned the hoop house. With the hoop house, you can do conservation cropping system. You can do micro irrigation. We fund on tape. We can fund wells, but you have to already have established irrigation history. And also as far as urban, we can assist with what cover crops you can put in that hoop house. And I'm trying to think of other things as far as urban goes, because we have quite few items that you could actually select from. And Miss Dorinda wanted me to tell you guys, if you need applications, you can drop by their office. And right now, because of COVID, you might have to have an appointment, because I know right now they're down to 50% of employees in the office. But she said applications are available. You can give them a call, or you can stop by and they'll be available for you. Now, I know you'll be talking about it later about eligibility. Now, with our programs, you have to be eligible, and it starts with FSA, because you have to have a farm number to even begin enrolling. FSA, you bring all your documentation. I'm sure someone from FSA probably will go over that next in the program, where you have to be eligible. And you'll be dealing with this air property. And I'm sure before it's over with, Dr. King or Mr. Jones probably will cover some of that, because your land has to be eligible. You have to be the owner or an operator. And if you're a tenant, you have to have permission from that landowner to install any practices that would be, or lifespan is over a year old. And now the other program we got there is Conservation Stewardship Program. And with the Conservation Stewardship Program, what it does, it provides, once you are, let's say you already have established what you're doing out there as far as your land, and you're trying to improve what you already have. CSP will provide benefits including increased crop productivity, decrease input, wildlife habitat movement. It helps you to move to that next level. So if you've been in one level all the time and you need to move up to that next level, CSP is the program for that. You can either add practices or you can add enhancements. And once again, CS, which is conservation stewardship, it's just like EQIP. It's a once a year ranking pool. And what it is, I'm trying to make sure I said it right. You sign up, and then based on when Washington calls a deadline date, we collect all the applications, and then we rank them out at a certain times of the year. And once again, with that, you still have to have eligibility. To participate in any of our program, once again, you have to have eligibility. I'm trying to think I really prefer question, because usually I ramble on and most people really don't. It's other things they need to know. But as far as our programs, I think that's basically it, the CSP. And now we do have the wetland reserve program, which usually doesn't play a part in our urban, because it's usually for the old bigger cropland, because you're converting back from cropland to what it was historically, whether it was trees or grasses or water. But unless you guys have some questions, please feel free to call any field office.
Yes, Miss. I didn't interrupt you, Ms. Hancock. I have I have the first question, and
Sure.
then we're gonna let the audience go. Would you tell the audience, we have not only are we want to like to talk about urban farming and micro farming in this meeting, we have a lot of heirs property, which is black landowners who are renting their land out to other people to farm. Could you tell individuals about some of the programs that they may have that NRCS does have? One of them would be a conservation easement. And the other one I want to say wetland reserve program, WREP.
Right, and I just mentioned WREP, the wetland reserve program. And with the wetland reserve program, there is there's a 10-year easement, there's a 30-year easement, there's a perpetual easement. With the perpetual easement is what we call it, that's your lifetime easement. And what it is, with that, it buys all your agricultural rights. You no longer have agricultural rights to that piece of ground. You have the right to pay taxes. You have the right to quiet enjoyment. You can lease. You still have your mineral rights. But as far as the agriculture, the commodity side of it, you lose all those rights. They pay, depending on where you are in the state, they pay a fee for whatever that market value is for land, and they have it appraised. And I can say for this part of the world, in 2021, I haven't seen the 2022 for irrigated cropland, it was $3,200 an acre. For wooded non-CRP, it was $800 an acre. And for non-irrigated cropland, it was like $2,500 an acre. And for the 30-year easement, and with the lifetime easement, it's 100% of the cost between the landowner and NRCS. Now with the 30-year easement, it's a 75-25. We pay 75% of the restoration costs, where that landowner is responsible for the other 25. You have to own it more than 2 years unless you have a waiver from Washington. And I think the policy reads you can't buy it strictly for that purpose of putting it in WRP. I mean, WRE. I'm sorry, we changed acronyms. And what was the other one you mentioned, Mr. Jones?
I believe you answered both of those as far as conservation easement and
Okay.
the other one. Would you just tell them a little about urban farming itself and what is the cost of a hoop house?
Okay, and the hoop houses depend on your size. With the hoop houses, first of all, the structures shall be obtained from a commercial source. You can't just put one up on your own. I mean, it have to be from a commercial source, and it have to be installed according to that manufacturer's directions. And the slopes cannot exceed 5%. I'm trying to think what's bait. And it's not the same thing as a greenhouse. The difference between a greenhouse and a hoop house is through the hoop houses, your plants have to be planted in the ground. Whereas with your greenhouses, you can do pots and that sort of thing. Everything goes in the ground with the hoop house or a high tunnel. And I think I don't know off the top of my head what the cost is right now. I can look that up and put it in the chat box, but I can't tell you right off the top of my head because we have applications here in my county, but not an actual hoop house being installed.
Ms. Hancock, what I was talking about as far as people, the cost share rates, the various cost share rates that you have, as far as African Americans.
Oh, you mean up to the 90%? Okay, and
Yeah.
that's through all of our programs. Social disadvantage, new and beginning farmers, they can get up to 90% of the cost to install their practices. But just to be honest with you, with the way cost is now, that might not be necessarily so. You might not end up with that 90% because here with COVID, prices have really gone high. So you might want to think about that one. But yeah, you can get up to 90% cost assistance.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Hancock.
Sure.
We're not finished, Ms. Hancock. Our founder and president just arrived, evidently something had happened. I'd like to bring him up. His name is Dr. Kavanaugh King Sr. I do know that he would have some things going on, but he's here now. And Ms. Hancock, he may have a question for you and for the audience online.
Sure.
Also, at the beginning, we had at least 15 people online. And with that being said, here's Dr. Kavanaugh King Sr. Would you please come? I can stop really now because everybody heard me ask going on live.
Website where they can save some information.
Somebody want to know about the website? They can go to our website, www.alfdc.webs.com. www.alfdc.webs.com. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Mr. Jones, while you're saying that, since you were talking about website, if you don't already belong, please go to farmers.gov. Farmers.gov, and you can find out all of our programs, everything that's available, what's new, that's coming. You can get that on farmers.gov.
I'll say good afternoon, everyone. My apologies for the delay in getting here. We have our family reunion. And of course, I'm the administrator for the Farm Family Trust. And I have to deal with all family reunions from the administrative perspective and people coming in town and being in town. How many of you in here are actual landowners or own your own home, I have interest or ownership in air farm? That's a good group. That's a good group. Okay. I'm going to say this because I don't want to debate anything on the general program itself is concerned. So we want to move ahead from that perspective. Just sort of in summary and what I heard sort of on the end in coming up, I want to give the relevance of what they talked about from the Natural Resources and Conservation Service perspective. You have a lot of programs within the context of Natural Resources and Conservation Services. So if you own a lot, if you have interest and ownership in air property, if you own a farm that you have rented out, or if you are farming itself, you have no farm that you're dealing with, it is very, very important. Very, very important. I cannot emphasize that you understand the program, one. Two is that you understand the value of the program. value of the programs themselves, and it's 2 to 3-fold when I talk about value. The cost share is one thing. So if you were gonna look at being a micro-urban farm, if you have a garden, what you call a garden now, and it doesn't have, there's no minimum size, but if you have a garden, then you could establish yourself as a micro-urban farm. Meaning that you could get the farm numbers and be eligible for all of the program services or benefits in being a farm, just like a big farm. Both the conservation program services, the micro-urban loan, they'll talk more about that, the Farm Service Agency, and other conservation type of practices that you get paid for and you implement those practices. So just think about that. You know, if you are a gardener, if you know someone, it doesn't have to be you directly, but what we hope the benefits of these particular meetings are, if you're not an individual that's actually doing it, and you know someone, then you should be an advocate for your community and a resource for your community to inform those other individuals, because one meeting won't do it all. It has to be an ongoing process from a community perspective to understand the benefits of the program and how it can be beneficial to your community. Because to the extent that those who are a part of the practice, part of the program benefits, and if they are raising vegetables, then they're part of what they call the local food supply, could be. You know, if they're raising watermelon, peas, butter beans, green beans, tomatoes, onions, you know, whichever. So, you know, I grew up on a farm. I still live on our family farm. But I grew up on a farm where we had what some may call a subsistence type of farming operation. Basically, all of our food supply when I was growing up was actually raised on that farm. So it's household consumption and self-concern. How many of you know what I'm talking about? All right. Okay, let me see. If you know what I'm talking about, then you understand what I'm saying. When you start to talk about subsistence and using the land and maximizing the utilization of land, I think there are a lot of opportunities and benefits that can be achieved here in Holly Grove, Arkansas. I want to really to build more partnership and how we can work with people in Arkansas land development perspective. And I'm going to stop. I'm assuming Al can introduce all my other staff people that's here.
I didn't hear you.
I would say, y'all want to make sure.
We introduce all that.
But I want to recognize this. In fact, our vice president's here. Miss she's here. Of course, if I would not have had here, then she would have been doing this. You know, too. But she can always running late. So we're going to proceed with the agenda as accordingly.
Would you find out if there are any more questions for Ms. Hancock?
Sure. Are there any questions? Are there any other questions that you may have in reference to your previous presenter with Natural Resource Conservation Service, either for the presenter or for myself? So either one, it doesn't matter. Yes, ma'am.
Would you have her state the name of her organization and her position with the organization?
Okay, the name of the organization is USDA Natural Resources and Conservation Service. And her position, could you say her position with Natural Resource Conservation Services, Ms. Hancock?
District conservationist.
She's a district conservation. Basically, all the programs she talked about, she's the administrative head person for dealing with those programs being implemented and making sure the program service delivery takes place in this area. Are there any other questions? Any other questions for Ms. Hancock? You have any questions for me at this point in this area, and I'll come back. Next on the agenda, and I'll tell you, this is going to be a challenge for me. Next on the agenda, we have USDA Farm Service Agency. Is USDA Farm Service Agency present or online?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. I've got a series of slides. I'm going to share my screen and get those set up. It'll just take me a second, okay?
Share your screen.
Okay, let's see here.
If you have any questions, what I would like you to do is to give your name, your address, and your phone number for our staff people at the back so we can do follow-up. You know, we provide direct assistance to individuals both for developing the application sign up for conservation program services. We work with you in doing that. Any other questions that you may possibly have as relates to anything we talk about here today? Again, you know, 2 hours is not a long time for all the information that the agencies have and understand the program services. And trust me, I've been doing this for 41 years and I'm still learning the program. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. King. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Barbara Pettigrew, and I am the County Executive Director for the Monroe County Farm Service Agency. And I'm also currently acting over in Prairie County and Hazen. But my main duties involve the Clarendon office and the Monroe County office. So we're located at 605 Madison in Clarendon. And this series of slides are real basic, and they're going to cover all the programs that we provide and just a few other things that may be helpful to you. The Farm Service Agency is part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and we provide programs and loans to help farmers and ranchers. And our agriculture partner organizations provide food, fuel, and fiber to millions of people worldwide. These are a few ag facts, and I'll let you read those. But one thing I'd like to point out that Arkansas ranks 3rd in cotton production. And I looked back for 2021. Monroe County, we had 12,000 acres of cotton planted last year, and I don't have our totals. We're still in the works of getting those certified and getting those figures together. But 12,000 acres of those cotton acres. And then Arkansas ranks 1st in the nation in rice production. And I looked at our figures from last year, 2021, we grew 39,300 acres of rice in Monroe County. So our focus today is a few things that the Farm Service Agency handles, some general information. We have new and beginning farmers and ranchers information, how to obtain a farm number, your FSA program portfolio. I'm going to share with you the farm programs that are available and some farm loan programs. And I'm going to tell you where and how to go and get this information, just the basics. So first off, we're going to talk about new and beginning farmers and ranchers. USDA can help and offers additional assistance to beginning farmers and ranchers. The USDA can help you get started or grow your operation through a variety of programs and services. A beginning farmer or rancher is a person or legal entity who has not operated a farm or ranch for more than 10 years and is materially and substantially participant in the operation. And then for a legal entity to be considered a beginning farmer, all members must be related by blood or marriage and must be beginning farmers. So how do you work with FSA? Your first step should be to contact your USDA Service Center and make an appointment. And in our case, we're in Clarendon. And also consider before you call us your vision for your land and farm. What do you plan to do with what do you plan to grow out there? What do you plan to do on your farm? If you need information in another language other than English, we've got that available. And if I don't know who's out there, but if you are not in Monroe County and you need to locate your local office, you can go to, like Ms. Gwen shared earlier, that farmers.gov, www.farmers.gov. And it's going to tell you where the county offices are located across the nation. So we have services for our specialty farmer groups. That's our fruits and vegetable farmers. We have services for our historically underserved farmers and ranchers. The Farm Service Agency offers help for unique concerns for producers who meet USDA's definition of historically underserved. That's beginning, socially disadvantaged, limited resource, and military veterans. In addition, women in agriculture are helping to pave the way for a better future. So additional information, visit that www.farmers.gov. Or of course, you can always contact our office. So for urban farmers, urban agriculture refers to the cultivation, processing, and distribution of ag products in urban and suburban settings. And these are things that Ms. Gwen talked about earlier. That's like those hoop houses and community gardens. Looks like they've got some other things listed, rooftop farms, aquaponic farming, and other innovations. But if you need additional information on these urban farms, give us a call. But it looks like most of those are offered through the NRCS office. We've got the organic certification cost share program. If you're an organic farmer, you can apply for the same loans and programs as conventional farmers. And you can also use this OCCSP program, and that helps pay for a portion of your certification. Okay, the next group of slides are going to cover obtaining a farm number. And as Ms. Gwen mentioned earlier, if you are going to apply for a program with NRCS or the Farm Service Agency, you will need a farm number. Sometimes your farm already has a number. You may be just don't realize it. But in order to obtain a farm number, that's what these next few slides are going to tell you. So if you've never worked with FSA or USDA before, you have to register your farm with the FSA office to be eligible for these programs. You must also have a farm number to apply for your NRCS offers, which include that EQIP program, the Environmental Quality Incentive Program. Oh, and there's no minimum acreage to register as a farm. After you set up your appointment at the FSA office, give yourself plenty of time, because sometimes this takes a little while. Be prepared to provide your address, your social security number, or your tax ID number. And there's a form AD 2047, and that's what we use now to gather our information. And then we'll locate your farm parcel. And most of the time we'll use either the county ownership map or we'll use the GIS system, and we'll see if you already have a number that's in our system. If you've recently purchased your land, you must bring in your property deed. Our system is not tied to the courthouse or any recording agencies in any way, so you need to bring in that deed to us. So if you don't own the land and you have a lease, you need to bring in your lease agreement to show that you have control of that property. If your operation is a corporation or an entity like an LLC, you'll need to provide us with proof that you have the signature authority to act on behalf of the legal entity. During your visit, there may be other forms that you'll need to complete. In addition to our county office staff, USDA has a beginning farmer and rancher coordinator that can assist you in understanding USDA's processes and finds the right assistance for your operation. We have these coordinators across the country, but for Arkansas, the Arkansas Beginning Farmer and Rancher Coordinator is Danny Hoots, and his email address is on the screen at danny.hoots@usda.gov, and he can give you the beginning farmer and rancher information. Our FSA program portfolio has lots of programs. They're divided into two sides, the farm programs and the farm loan programs. FSA is home to one of the largest aerial film libraries. We have more than 60,000 rolls of film and 10 million images in our aerial photography field office. Okay, now I'm going to go through some of the farm programs. I'm not going to spend time telling every single program, but I'm just going to give you the little information about each one so you'll know where to come to if you need information. The farm program safety net programs, the ARC and PLC program, and that provides payments to farmers when their revenue has fallen below the expected revenue. That's an annual sign-up program for farmers. There's the WIP Plus program. That is a disaster program. It's just a short-term program. We offer the NAP program, and that is insurance for non-insurable crops. That's like your fruits and vegetable crops. These are some more safety net programs for our livestock producers. We have LIP. If we have any fish farmers or honeybee farmers out there, there's also ELAP. There's a tree assistance program. And in some parts of the state, we have the margin protection program, or MPP, which is a dairy program. Now I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to give you information on our farm loan programs. We offer loans for beginning farmers and ranchers, and then there's emergency loans. The emergency loans help farmers recover when there's been a physical loss due to, say, a flood or a drought. And these are just some general loans, the direct operating loans, your micro loans, and your direct farm ownership loans. There are guaranteed loans and youth loans and loans for minority and women farmers and ranchers. The youth loans can be used by young people ages 10 to 20 years old. who participate in, say, 4-H, or if they have an income producing ag-related project, and those limits are $5,000. But that's always interesting to me for the young folks that participate in 4-H and are interested in getting a youth loan. So this is how you can get additional information about the Farm Service Agency and the programs that we offer. You can sign up for the farmers.gov by going to www.farmers.gov/sign-in. You can create an account, and it's an interactive resource, and it's got all the information that you need about any programs. Farmers.gov also has a new functionality, which is FSA Farm Plus. And so once you sign up, if you're an owner, you can go and view and print and export details about your farm records right from your own computer. Our county committee election calendar is, we're currently taking nominations for the county committee election that will come up later in the fall, but this is our county committee calendar. We will be accepting those applications until August 1st. You can also keep up with what's going on at the Farm Service Agency through our newsletters and news bulletins. If you'll go to www.fsa.usda.gov/subscribe, you can subscribe to news bulletins for whatever counties you choose, and you can add to or take off, and we send these bulletins out each month. You can also subscribe to text message alerts if you want to be abreast of the deadlines that are coming up. You won't receive more than 2 text messages per month on average. We don't send those out very often because folks don't like to get extra text messages. But if you would like to subscribe, you can text AR plus your county name. So in our case, it would be AR Monroe, all one word, AR Monroe. Then you text that to 372-669, and then that will set you up for text alerts. Okay, if you have any questions, there's it's a new program, and it's called Ask USDA. So if you go to https://ask.usda.gov, you can ask questions and get answers 24/7. We encourage you to contact our office to discuss any programs. We are available to our customers. Like Ms. Gwynn said, Monroe County is currently on 50% staffing. We are mask mandatory, but currently our offices have, they call them sneeze shields, they're screens. So our office doors are open, but you may want to give us a call before you make the travel because things change daily with that. Okay, I've covered a lot of things, and I don't know if anyone has any questions, but I'm open to Any questions at this time?
Ms. Pettigrew, do you live on 86 in the Gray House?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was just wondering if you are the Pettigrew that lives near Holly Grove on 86 in the Gray House.
She says she wants to know if you're the individual that live in the Gray House on Highway 86. I just came down that road.
No, ma'am, that's not me. That's my son. But I do live on that highway. I live on closer to Clarendon.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, I have a bearing on who you are now.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Nice to meet you.
Well, look,
It's nice to
we're very glad you gave us a visual there, and you held out on us. But then, let me ask you a question. That was a statement you made regarding, well, you didn't make the statement, but I saw where you had CCAP up there, the Monte Food Assistance Program. Is that program still available for sign up?
Not currently. No, that was CFAP was last year, and that's still in our slides. And I'm not saying that it won't be available, but right now it's not.
Okay. Well, now my next question in regards to CCAP, I know there was some major discrepancies as far as the payment level, the smaller farmers versus the payment opportunities and benefits for the larger farmers. And there was some discussion regarding having a urban micro farm CCAP program this go round. Has that become a reality yet?
You know, I haven't heard anything about that. Now, I don't know. A lot of those urban programs are handled through NRCS. Is Ms. Gwynn still on the line?
I am here.
Are you familiar with any CFAP with the urban farming?
Not on our side. I'm not.
Okay, I'm not familiar with any. I haven't heard of anything. Now, like I say, I'm not saying that it won't be, but I haven't heard.
Okay, I was going to ask, and I know that the NRCS has a micro urban farm subcommittee from the state technical committee. And I was thinking possibly the FSA would be pretty consistent like USDA sort of across the board as it relates to those areas on support services and remodeling not the eligibility side, but more or less the payment levels, a different calculation for payment levels. They'll be doing the same thing with, as I understand it. I don't know if they have the files out yet. With NRCS on CSP programs, conservation stewardship practices, and not having it the same as it is with the larger farmers. I have one other question, and I know you gave reference to the county committee, but in addition to that, I guess the sign up period of those who are interested in participating in that committee, you say the deadline is August 1st. Now, what are the eligibility requirements for the county committee?
The eligibility, I know you have to live in the LAA that is being elected that you're nominated for. And you need to be an owner or an operator on a farm and eligible to participate in the farm programs, in other words, for that area.
So one, you must participate in the farm programs in the area, and two,
Well,
you must be a farm operator?
Well, no, sir, you don't have, you could be an owner. You just have to be eligible to participate in those programs. You're not necessarily, you may not be participating, but you have to be eligible to participate. And then there's a nomination petition that you answer the questions for. This year, the nominations are, let me think, LAA number 1, which is the northern part of the county, which includes the city of Brinkley area. It's would be, let's see, north, the north 1/3 of the county, I would say, is LAA 1.
Okay, but one of the primary areas that you must have interest or ownership in, I have ownership of land. You must be a landowner.
Yes, and live in that LAA, yes.
You must live in the area and you must own land.
What, sir, you don't have to be an owner, you have to be an owner or an operator.
Right, so I'm just,
Right.
I'm saying, either or, if I'm not an operator of someone else's land, or if I own land or own a farm, then I would qualify to run for a position for a county committee.
Possibly, if you live in the LAA, yes, yes.
If you live in that area, and you could represent that area if you either own land or if you are an owner and operator of land, or if you just an operator of land, you are a farm. Those are the basic primary. That's the primary criteria or eligibility to be on the committee.
That's part of it, but you have to live in the area that you're running for. And we have a map in the county office that if you want to see what LAA you are in, we have a map there available.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I have one other question. I want to just go through this process and make sure that I'm not missing the point. And one, getting the farm number. If you want your land to be eligible to be a farm, one, you must get a farm number. Two is that in order for you to get that farm number, you must show that you have the authority or the ownership of that property that you want the farm number for. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on that, on this map. If I'm leasing land and I have control of that land, say for the next 5 or 10 years, and I don't have a farm number, can I come in and get a farm number for that?
Yes, but now if it's being leased and it's a farm, most all of the farms in Monroe County have a number. Now you may have some land, that you're going to break out and possibly start farming, and that you would need to acquire a number. But lots of times folks just don't realize, but when they bring in their information in their lease, there's already a number associated with that. Because the Farm Service Agency goes way back. And so we're gonna, most likely we'll have a farm number for you, if you bring in that information and your lease and everything. But every now and then we do have to create a farm number for you. And but both offices, both ways, you have to come to the Farm Service Agency with your information. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I understand the farm ownership map and the numbers already connected to that. You can pull that up and see.
Sure.
I'm speaking more of the non-traditional type farmers. Someone say they have 2 lots, or they have a 1/4 acre that's in the city, and they want to get a farm number for that 1/4 acre. And instead of that 1/4 acre just laying out or sitting there, if they're raising a truck patch on it now, then they would have to show that they have the control of that land, either by way of a lease on the land. Of course, you would have a description of that property, either from the tax receipt, and the individual may put it into a lease, and they have a long-term lease on that property. But they want to get the benefits of other program services on that 1/4 acre or 1/2 acre. Then they would have to have that in order to get the farm number for it. I understand the regular traditional farm very well on that, the farm map and mapping and area photos, I understand that. But just the non-traditional subsistence type of farming, becoming a subsistence farmer and getting a farm number for those micro-urban farms. Those, if they decide that they're already producing on the land, they know they don't have a farm number, and they have 1 acre, 1/2 acre, 1/4 acre, or what some call a garden, and they want a farm number for that, then they must show that they have either control or ownership of that property. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. And just keep in mind that when we create that farm number, we have to tie an owner to it. So that's another thing. Just, we'll need the lease if you're the operator, but we're also going to have to know the owner's name and the owner's information, such as the deed. Because in order to create the farm, you have to put an owner and an operator. But yes, sir, that is a lot of times that's what happens with those, like you say, non-traditional operators or owners. And also, if you have someone that's, like you say, a truck patch and they're commercially growing crops out there, it could be an acre. We'd love to see you in our office and set you up with the NAP contract, which is insurance. So that's another thought for that.
But I'm gonna come back to that, but I just wanna make sure that we're clear on a couple things, because I'm gonna move to another area as it relates to this, but it seems to be a very simplified process. Get a phone number. I know who owns this land. I know whose name that this lot of these 3 lots are in. And John Doe is going to have this lease to me. Say it's Calvin King. Calvin King is going to lease you a half-acre of land that you've been raising a garden on, raising vegetables on, and you want to become a farmer. I leased it to you, and you want to get a farm number for it because you're raising vegetables on it now. You want to get the benefit of the USDA Farm Program Service. You want to get an operating loan. Okay, from FSA. Okay, that's what we call a micro loan up to $50,000 to get some equipment to operate the land with, to raise vegetables with, to get other operating expenses for that. Well, I know some of it sounds and seems to be very simplistic and straight to the point. But here's what happens and what we run into a lot of times, particularly in the African American community or the minority community. You go in and get a farm number, you have a lease agreement from Calvin King on this half-acre of land, okay? And I lease it to you. When you take it into the FSA office, you have the proof of the lease, and you have Calvin King's name. But what Calvin King can tell you is that half-acre of land, and we used to have a homestead on it, that he's been raising vegetables on, now at least to you for vegetable farming, is air problem. Somebody already said it's air problem. Can I come back to this man for 1 second? If there's an air problem situation and there's not what you call an authorized administrative authority to lease that land, will you give them a phone number against that lease?
Okay, we have other ways of proving ownership on air property. There's a fact sheet that has to do with air property, and it's really helpful. It tells you quite a bit, and I don't know how to share that now, but if there's anyone that needs that, I certainly can get it to you. If you'll give me a call, I can mail it to you or email it, either way.
No, that's fine. I actually clearly understand it. I just want to make sure the audience understands.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's great. I thank you for mentioning that.
So I'm talking when she said the tax sheet.
It's a fact sheet. Yes.
Okay, an actual fact sheet.
FACT. Fact. Mm-hmm.
So say the land is in my father's name. I'm an heir to that property, and I have 4 of the 5 sister brothers. Then if I take in that proof of ownership of the property, I would only take in that I have, which would have a information where I'm paying the taxes every year, but the land is still in my father's name. Now the ownership would be there, but they still know that that's an heir property situation and that I'm the heir to that property. So they have a fact sheet, a check-off fact sheet of other information you can have that will be required in order for you to get a farm number. So I'll make sure we're clear on that. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand this full process. Understand that the full process, there's an opportunity here for people who either may be doing it, those who may want to do it, or those of you who own land, have land that's just actually sitting out right now, and that you're not getting the maximum benefit of that particular piece of land by leasing it out in a way, or you're not bringing what they had on the other side, saying added value on that land, that farm, added value to it, on having it where it qualifies for other resources, then that's added value of that piece of land. You got a farm number, and once you get the farm number, then it qualifies for other resources. Now, that means that if you're gonna lease to somebody, that piece of land is worth more because you have a farm number and you say, I'm gonna lease this out as a farm. So John Doe, I got the farm number, I got 2 lots, I got a double lot, I got a half acre to keep not getting that much out of us. Well, let me have the $50 for the half acre, whichever. But once you get a farm number for it, that means that person, if you put it, say you have a micro-urban farm for lease, then anyone who really understands that young, middle-aged, or older individual, then you need to explain to them that you have a farm number for that piece of land. Based on that farm number, it qualifies for the NRCS program, Natural Resource Conservation Program, cost share program. That's added value. They can put a hoop house on it. As one on cost share, they put irrigation systems on it. That makes it more valuable. So you're creating added value to that particular piece of land by getting that farm number and opportunity for other types of resources, financial resources, more value from that perspective. And they have the opportunity, they can go in and get that micro-urban loan, from Farm Service Agency for up to $50,000, okay? Again, not going to go through all the process, but we do provide that services and work with individuals through this whole process. So anyone that have any added questions about it, or want to have a meeting, or want us to work with you, make sure you sign up at the table at the back. We'll get an intake developed on you, we follow up with you to develop the application. And understand, vegetable farming is a little different from traditional farming. You got your spring crops, you got your summer crops, and you got your fall crops, okay? That NAP program that she talked about, then you qualify for that NAP program on the non-insurable type of crop, vegetable crops fall under that category. You've probably seen the news where the governor has requested disaster, this be a declaration for disaster for the state of Arkansas. But that declaration of disaster, if you have a farm number and you have certified your crops and you signed up for NAP, then your farm, no matter how small it is, qualifies for those disaster payments. Restrict the business, people, restrict the business, and there are people, as far as income is concerned, you can earn a meaningful means of income from that, people understanding the programs and make an application for them. I'm going to stop at that point. Are there any other questions from the audience? Further questions? All right, we're going to move on. I'll come back and do a summary on this. We're going to move to, I think, the next one. We have a USDA Rural Development representative, and Ms. Harris, Captain Harris. Ms. Harris, are you on? Okay, we got the echo on you. Ms. Harris. Captain Harris. Okay, we can see you. Okay, we have a visual on you, but we don't have any sound. Can you hear us? If you can hear us, just raise your hand. Okay, I still have no sound. I have no sound with you. Right. We have a good visual, but we don't have sound. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a very broad program that we're going to talk about with USDA Rural Development. Housing is one of the areas, and I hope we'll have some questions on that. We'll also be talking about business loan opportunities with USDA rural development. And that's both the direct loan as well as the guarantee loan program. Ms. Harris, we're not getting anything yet. We can see, but we can't hear you. You're very photogenic. Are you on mute? We don't have on mute, do we, Mike? Okay, we don't have you on mute. Is it showing up? She has it on mute.
Well, we got folks leaving, I just talking about what is up.
We're still not getting anything from an audio perspective. Ms. Harris, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give a quick summary of your program areas and what all you do. And anything that I say wrong, shake your head. Everything I say right, nod it up and down. Okay, so nod it up and down from right, shake your head to the side if I'm wrong. USDA rural development rural development is part of USDA as well. One of the primary areas that we like to talk about with our audience are opportunities for access and resources, both from a business perspective. We're talking about small business, or the business industry loan program is the other one that they have. So they have, normally these come to the state office, but you can get what's called a BNI, business and industry loan. Now, those loans come both as direct loans and guarantee loans. Am I right, Ms. Harris? Okay, so the BNI loan, business and industry loans, come as both as a direct loan from USDA rural development, and you can get it from as a guarantee loan. The other loan program that I'm going to shift to is what they call their housing loan program and grant program. Now, they have a housing rehab grant program, and I'm going to give the number, but one of the grant programs is up to $7,500 to do rehab work, and they are eligible requirements. I think you have to be 62, 60. Am I wrong on that, Ms. Harris? Oh, 10,000. Oh, wow. Okay, that's even better. Okay, better. So it has gone up. See how long you can get up to $10,000 now for the grant program with USDA rural development for the rehab program. Ms. Harris, if I'm correct, I know we're doing sign language. For that $10,000 eligibility requirement, you have to be 62 years of age or older. Okay, so you must be 62 years of age or older, or disabled. If you're disabled, you qualify too, right? Okay, disability does not qualify you. Okay, no other, so not disability, but if you're 62 years of age or older, then you can qualify for up to $10,000 in a grant program to do rehab work on your home. Now, I know the cost of construction renovation now is very expensive, but let's cut back. Ms. Harris, let me know if I'm right on this one. In addition to the grant program, the $10,000 grant program, 62 years of age or older, they also have a loan program at 1% interest rate. Am I right? That's 1% interest rate. 1% interest rate, $20,000. Okay, up to $20,000 at a 1% interest rate for housing rehab to do rental. She said no. 40. Oh, wow. Okay. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I told you, keeping up on this stuff, it has been changing, particularly here recently. So you can get up to $40,000 now on a 1%. 1%. Now, 1% on $40,000 is going to be the minimum payment, and that's over a period of 20 years, Ms. Harris. 20 years. Okay, that's over a period of 20 years. You do the math on amortization. That's a minimum payment of $40,000 over a period of 20 years, probably less than $100 a month. So I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but $40,000 for the loan side of the program at a 1% interest rate, and $10,000 on the grant side of the program for housing rehab, and that's a total of $50,000 now that USDA offers for home renovation. Now, I say that because the mayor has been very adamant about that with me, that she really wants us to be active and to work with Holly Grove and get assistance in here to work with housing. That's the USDA rural housing program. Now, they also have the regular direct loan program for building housing, new construction. And I think, Ms. Harris, if I'm right, is that $268,000? Is that $268,000 for new? How much? Is it more or less? It's more. It's more than 260. It's more. Okay, so you can do a housing new construction loan now under USDA rural development over $268,000. Again, construction costs have been high. I think it's going to be on the downside, like right now, but up to $268,000 for a direct loan with USDA rural development over $268,000. So that's a major construction loan. You can get
$336,500.
200 what?
336,500.
332,500.
336,500.
Okay, it's 330. Okay, she put it down there. Thank you, Mike. Okay, $336,000 for a direct loan to build a house brand new on affordable housing. $336,000. That's what the loan rates are now for housing on affordable housing.
3.25.
With 3.25% interest rate. That's a very low interest rate. The interest started going down traditional lenders, okay? And that means you can get that loan either as a direct loan or a guaranteed loan. Either one. I mean, you can go to the bank, if the bank is a preferred lender with USDA rural development, they can make the loan and they'll do up to a 90% guarantee. Right, 90% guarantee on that housing loan. 90% guarantee. Now that's the housing program, your grant loan program for renovation, 50,000. 336 million?
336,500.
336,500. That's the housing program. That's the housing program in USDA rural development. Now, and again, that application process, here's what I suggest in that process of dealing with housing. One is that I'm thinking I'm right, Ms. Harris, it's like a pre-app process versus developing the full process, that we work with you to develop that short application that will show you what you pre-qualify for loan-wise. And I say that because it's $336,500, you may not qualify for up to that maximum dollar amount. So you may only qualify based on income to debt ratio. Okay, $336,500 for RDA loan. Not guaranteed, okay, not on the guarantee, that's on the direct loan program. Thank you, Mr. Okay, that's for the direct loan program. Okay, so $336,500. Again, the mayor has been very adamant that she wants to get more done in the city of Holly Grove and assisting and helping individuals with housing, both from a renovation perspective and new construction. How do we get people to that point of becoming either homeowners doing renovation on the housing in the area. And I'm gonna be back with the mayor so we can make sure we get the names and everything, and I'll give you names and everything here now. But if she gets the names of individuals, we're gonna try to work with that process and really support the community in that process of getting housing development down here. Yes. Okay, turn a little bit more on this, Harris.
Good credit, it's income based.
Okay, so credit and income based. Okay, credit and income based. Basically, means credit and income based, check the credit score. Now, it is not like a traditional, it's not like traditional banks. It's not like traditional banks and things of that nature. But if there is a way for you to get financing, and they are not as stringent as a bank is in making the correct loan, they will work through that process, or there's a way to work through that process with rural development. And when I say a way to work through the process, you know, we have worked with individuals where, okay, they had some debts, and they had what do you call it? Anyway, it's still there, and say they did a garnishment, they put a lien on whatever, but they had to just sit there. There are ways of getting those things taken off your credit report and building those credit reports. So sometimes it does take that. Some people have had experience doing that, but there are ways of doing that. And of course, they say that credit scores and now credit has changed for people when the pandemic nationally has been enormous. So a lot of people are doing that now, getting either the benefit of the services, strengthening their credit, getting it up to par, and going ahead and getting other financing or refinancing that they need and dealing with housing. So this is probably one of the most diverse programs that you could get to deal with housing development. One of the most diverse, one of the best interest rates that you can get is going to be with USDA rural development as well. And I mean, $336,500. I mean, you know, that's a lot. I don't know what the cost is per square foot. And those are approved certified plans, you know, that they would approve to sign up on that meet all the requirements of USDA rural development for the construction of everything in the house.
The credit score is not a big issue. You can't use alternate credit.
Yeah. Well, she said it's better. She said credit is not a big issue. And that's why I say they're the most lenient. Credit is not a big issue. There's normally a way we can work through that process with rural development. So don't let that scare y'all. I didn't say that right, but I say I went through the whole thing, building your credit and all that. Okay, so she cut through the chase on that. So y'all got it, right? Y'all got it. I apologize for that. You know, I just sort of my way sometimes.
If they have no active credit.
What you said, Mike?
If they have no active credit.
They don't have to have active credit.
If they have, Mr. Raymond. Ask her to put it in the mailbox. I can't see the right.
Hey,
Ask her to put it in the mailbox.
Kathy, if you would put it in the mailbox, then they can read it to me. And because I want to make sure I get this covered. I don't want nobody going back telling my good friend, Mayor Miss Lou Tyler, that you told him to talk about housing. He really didn't talk about no housing. He didn't tell us that. And I will get a call, not the next day, I get a call the same day. And I don't mean on the business phone. She got my home phone number. And then she would say, I didn't follow directions. So I want to make sure y'all let them know I follow direction on dealing with housing here in Holly Grove. Okay, so on that, say credit is not a big issue. We beyond that. We work through that process and work the rural development through that process. The other is the two different areas for the 62-year renovation program and then the new construction program. Let me say this, people, also, we're gonna fall back to this air property issue again. If you have air property, you wanna deal with trying to build a house, you have to get that straightened out, be sure that you have clear title and ownership to that property where you wanna build a house. And I know we have situations where you may have family members that stay in the house, and it's a family house, and younger generation wanna move back, wanna build a house there, but they say, well, listen, we can't do this. But they need to just go ahead and deed their interest out of that property over to you. And so you can go ahead and build a home there, but you must have clear title and ownership to that property. Ms. Kathy, am I missing anything? Am I missing anything on the program? I need to cover right now. Your contractor must be a licensed contractor from the state of Arkansas that you select to do the construction. It must be licensed. I don't care how good they are, what they do, and I would normally, in a lot of cases, it is best if they are licensed in their own USDA rule development list of contractors. So you know you have a bona fide licensed contractor, and they have the necessary insurance, liability coverage, and things like that, when they're on your property doing the construction. Okay, so people, $336,500 new construction, and $50,000 on the renovation program for senior citizens, and that's the loan grant program. $10,000 grant, $40,000 loan on the renovation, for renovation of homes, and getting for the over a 20-year period of time at 1% interest rate on that program, 3.25% interest rate on new construction loans. Okay, affordable housing.
They look at Ms. Sarah's contact information.
They can do that.
They won't miss Ms. Sarah's contact information.
Contact information.
For which,
They will miss Harris' contact information with Jasper.
Oh, okay, Ms. Harris, they want the contact information to your office. The people who are here, both those that are online as well as the ones that are present. They want the contact information for your office to get more details to make the application on the housing program. You can either put it in the chat box if you can't get it up on the screen, put it in the chat box, and we'll give it out to you. Whichever office, and this is for Holly Grove in Monroe County, Holly Grove, Arkansas. Would that office be located in Clarendon? Forest City, okay, y'all are, okay, so they gotta come see you, Ms. Harris. Okay, so y'all will be in Forest City. So it'll be in Forest City, Arkansas. That phone number is 870-633. That's not it anymore. Okay, 633. Is it 5512? 36 30 55. Okay. 3055. Okay, the phone number, contact information 633 3055. Extension 12. 4. Extension 4. Okay. Oh, well, I got 12 something. It's not a long thing for me, trust me. Extension 4. 633 3055. And then when it comes up to center, hit extension 4, and that'll take you directly to their office. People, they have a great housing program. You know, I've been familiar with it over the years. They are probably the greatest funder of financing for rural housing in Arkansas, believe it or not. But in order for you to get the benefit of the program services with rural development, have the information, and you got to apply. You got to apply. You have to apply for it. Now, she said credit is not an issue, and they work with you through the process. And what else can you ask for? I mean, what else can you ask for, man? Yes, ma'am, you have a question?
Is this just for new construction or is this also for renovation?
It's for both, man. I talked about the renovation on the front end. The new construction is $336,500. That's the maximum loan amount for direct loan. That's at 3.25 interest rate. Best interest rate you're gonna find anywhere. Okay, create affordability.
That was 335,000.
$336,500.
336,500 for new builds. How much for renovation?
For renovation, eligibility requirements, one, must be 62 years of age, minimum, 62 years of age or older. And the dollar amount is up to $50,000. And that's $10,000 on grant program that you may qualify for, and $40,000 on the loan side of the program at a 1% interest rate. And you can't beat that. You can up to 20 years. So you know that's a minimum payment, 20 years, $40,000, 1% interest rate. I mean, you know, amortization on that. Pardon me? 502, yeah, I think that's the 502. Somebody was working on it right there.
It's Rob. If you be proud.
So the program is called
502,
502.
you got the 502 and the 504 program, yeah. You said it's who?
Proud.
Proud. It's proud.
Yeah, you're unique.
Oh, okay, with the professional proud, it's proud. Okay, so you got the 502 and the 504 program.
This is some, Lieber, Lebet, Tucker is our lead tech. For more information.
Lebet Tucker.
Yeah.
Okay, she said that her the lead person in housing name is Lebet Tucker. Lebet Tucker is the lead person in working with the housing program in her office, out of the Fort City office, Lebet Tucker.
Lever.
What was that name again?
Like I said, Lever Tucker.
Lebet Tucker, how does it spell, right?
Lever.
Lever, Lever, Lever Tucker. Right, Lever Tucker is the lead person from our office. Right. Okay, I think that is Ms. Harris, you make a great partner doing this. I'm not going to go into some of the other program areas. We're not dealing with a lot of municipalities. I know the mayor is leading these programs on infrastructure, for small town cities, with RDA, with funding for infrastructure, water sewer systems. They're the ones that it's good to y'all. They're picking up that sound and other people's on Berkeley also, so they're good. But anyway, on the infrastructure for water sewer system, there are also the funders for that for rural towns, for both expansion, new installation, upgrading, whichever. So your water sewer system will develop the funds that as well. Then they have, in addition, as well as community facility, they have a community facility grant and loan program as well. That's through USDA rural development. Be it for fire stations, other community type facilities. I think Holly Grove has benefited from some of those programs in the past. But the same thing on that, as well as the technology. They have a technology loan and grant program. The city may be working with them now. I know they are with the state of Arkansas under the technology programs to get better internet services in your community, or upgrading internet services, high-speed internet in other areas. So all of that provides falls under USDA rural development. Are there any other questions, both regarding housing, the business and industry loan program, infrastructure, community facilities and grant program, loan and grant program of community facilities. And I won't get into the others, but they do have an energy assistance. Now, Kathy, help me on this one. They have an energy assistance program, grant program, right? Okay, they have an energy assistance grant program. Now, if I messed up on this, just shake your head, all right? Be good at this time. We get pretty good, right? Okay, on the energy assistance grant program, if you're going to upgrade or modify your utilities in a certain way in your home, say it's a new air conditioning type system, things of that nature, making your home maybe more energy smart. Can individual households can qualify for that grant program, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that's the energy assistance program through USDA, and most individuals do not ask about that. But changing some of the old systems out, they do an evaluation assessment of it, air conditioning systems and things of that nature, put other energy smart type of practices into your home. They have an energy assistance grant program for that. That also applies for community facilities as well. Am I right, Kathy? On the energy assistance grant program.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? I heard something on that.
What?
It does, okay. So you may want to ask about the energy assistance grant program as well. That's through USDA rural development. Particularly if you want to be applying for the grant loan program for renovation of a house up to $50,000 on that, I would definitely inquire about and see how you can layer that with an energy assistance program to do an upgrade from that perspective on your other utilities from that standpoint. It would just make sense to do it and make your home more energy efficient and lower the costs as well as operating costs concerned on utility bills. So, Kathy, am I missing anything? Yep, am I missing anything?
No.
Okay, okay. All right. I think we're on track as to what the major area that I know the mayor wants to cover on the housing. If there are any other questions on that, that is very specific to B&I loans, the B&I guarantee loan, and direct loan, loan. There's another area of only, and I'm not going to get into that, because it works back to municipalities on grant programs. And I'm sure the mayor is familiar with that one, to assist in business expansion or new business startup. There is a grant program on that one, and that goes directly back to the state office, USDA rural development. Kathy, that's all I have, unless it's something that I missed. If there's something we missed very specifically, you would put it to the chat box and I'll come back around to it.
Bill Bishop with the agricultural center.
Okay, is Bill on?
What she's talking about, he's going to the next person, Bill Bishop. See if Bill Bishop.
Accesses.
Accesses. Jill Bishop.
Yes, I'm here. How y'all doing? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All
Hey.
right. All right. Let me share my screen. I just want to say thank you so much, Dr. King and Mr. Jones, for having us. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. So I'm here today to talk about the agricultural census. As mentioned, my name is Jill Bishop. I am the Regional Deputy Director for the National Agricultural Statistics Service. Also on the line with me, I have Mr. Daniel Perry, who is one of the statisticians in our office. So thus far today, we have heard about many programs that are offered by the NRCS, FSA, and rural development. But you may ask, how do these different agencies know which programs to offer and the needs that are out there by the farmers? Well, that goes back to the Census of Agriculture, which is offered every 5 years and conducted by our agency, the National Agricultural Statistics Service. All right, so who is NAS? So we currently have 12 regional field offices. As stated, I am one of the deputy directors for the Delta Regional Office, which covers Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. So the mission of our agency is to provide timely, accurate, and useful statistics and service to U.S. agriculture. Unlike a lot of our sister agencies that have presented here today, we do not directly give out any loans or grant programs directly to the producers. However, we are an indirect service that we feel still help the producers greatly. We put out statistics for over 120 crop commodities and over 40 livestock commodities. So if you ever hear any official statistics, like there are, I don't know, however many acres of soybeans in the state of Arkansas, that comes out from our agency. We do over 400 national reports annually and 9,000 state level reports annually. One thing about our agency, we are very due date oriented, and we release all of our due dates about a year in advance. So the one that we're going to talk about most today is the Census of Ag, which is going to be conducted this coming year. And we do this every 5 years. So what we do, we administer USDA statistical estimating program and the 5-year Census of Ag. We coordinate federal, state, and agricultural statistical needs. We conduct statistical research for federal, state, or private organizations in other countries. We supply the statistics necessary to manage the USDA programs. What does that mean? In order to know what programs are needed out there, you have to have data to make those decisions. To know that you need assistance for new and beginning farmers, you have to have data to understand how many new and beginning farmers there are out there. To know that you need assistance for underserved farmers, you have to have data out there to know that there are underserved farmers out there. Our statistics help to improve efficiency of these programs and facilitate the development of these new programs. In our 2017 census, we did ask those questions. How many farmers had 10 years or less experience of farming? Based on that, the new and beginning farmer programs were instituted from FSA. We asked about veteran farmers in our census in 2017. From there, they became new programs just for veterans of the armed services. So it is through these programs and through these surveys that additional services become available to farmers and operators. So our data, who's it used by? Farmers, policymakers, agribusinesses. We have surveys that go to set up the agricultural portion of the gross domestic product. We have surveys that go to lending services like banks and institutions that help serve or measure risk and how they can give credit to farmers, because you will not want to give credit to a farmer looking at the operations of a beauty salon or a restaurant. It's just a different type of business. It goes to state and local government, researchers, USDA. So it's used for marketing decisions, product distribution, local programs, things of that nature. So our whole purpose is to level the playing field. We want to get the data out there to everyone at the same time. So let's talk about history. The first census of ag was conducted in 1840, and it was in 26 states and the District of Columbia. 180 years later, NAS conducts the census of ag in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, Guam, the US Virgin Islands, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and the American Samoa. That's data for more than 3,000 US countries and 30,000 zip codes. So the Census of Ag is a complete count taken every 5 years of America's farms and ranches and the people who operate them. It is the most complete agricultural data available. It's the only source of uniform, comprehensive, and impartial ag data for every county in the nation. And it's information on land use and ownership, producer characteristics and demographics, production practices, income and expenditures, and more. And since we're doing this for FY22, the crop season of 22, what better year to discuss, especially with the rising input costs that all operators felt in 2022. So by NASS definition, what is a farm? A farm is any place from which at least $1,000 of ag products were produced and sold, or normally would have been sold during the census year. Another thing I want to tell everyone about NASS, unlike our sister agencies, because we do not directly give out loans or grants, our particular representatives will not ever ask you for your social security number or for your bank account information, because we have no use for that. We're not a regulatory agency. But we will ask you some very detailed information about your operation, just so that we can understand and present the data that is needed, so that decisions can be made. Another thing that you should know about that NASS, we can only publish our data in aggregate form. We are not allowed to publish any data that will disclose an individual operator's data in any way, shape, or form. So that's covered under SIPSIA and under Title VII of the US Code. So those are things that we are just not allowed to do. We can only publish our data for statistical purposes only. So your voice. By participating in the Census of Ag, you help show the nation the value and the importance of US agriculture. This is your opportunity to tell how American agriculture provides food, fuel, and fiber to the world. By responding to the census, you have the power to influence decisions that will shape American agriculture for years to come. Transportation and marketing locations, farm services, programs and policies, and production practices and new technologies. Another thing that has come from the last census, or 2 censuses ago, is that initiative, that presidential initiative to get additional bandwidth and internet to rural areas. That's a direct outcome from the Census of Ag. Your future. By responding to the Census of Ag, you have a positive impact on the future of your operation and your community. The Census of Ag provides valuable information that will be used to plan the future, including community planning, farm succession planning, store and company locations, availability of operational loans and other funding, as well as federal budget support for agriculture. Farm Bill uses data from the census and from our surveys. Policymakers use our data to make those decisions to create those farm bills. So this is your opportunity. Your response to the Census of Ag makes a difference. To ensure that the best tools and reports are available, we need accurate information from all respondents, no matter how large or small you are. According to the 2017 census, 75% of the farms in the state of Arkansas made less than $25,000 in sales. So the operators, it doesn't matter your size. And we need everybody to understand that. Even if you consider yourself a smaller farm, everyone matters. So we advise to respond early to avoid follow-up contacts. A lot of things that frustrate people with our agency is that we're going to keep calling until we get a response. But if you mail it in or if you fill it out via EDR, the additional contacts stop, I promise. And your response is required by federal law for the Census of Ag, but that's only because this data is so vitally important for the future of agriculture for our nation. So be counted. There's strength in numbers. You are highly encouraged to complete the Census of Ag online at www.agcounts.usda.gov. The online questionnaire is secure, convenient, and user-friendly. If you've ever received a NAS survey before, I promise you are already on our list and you will receive a census. Save time by responding online as the form calculates totals automatically. It will offer quick drop-down menus and skips questions that do not pertain to your operation. Alternatively, you can also respond by mail. So dates to remember. The 2022 Census of Ag will mail out on November 21st of this year. It is due by February 6th of 2023, and we will release the data in the spring of 2024. Here I have a county profile of Monroe County, and I wanted to show this because Mr. Jones stated how important Monroe County is, especially to African American history, right? In 2017, we reported a little over 42,000 farms in the state of Arkansas. Of those, 186 farms were in Monroe County. 65 of those farms reported that they were owned by Black or African American farmers. Does that number sound low to you all? If it does, it's likely because response was low. And see, this is how it affects you. When it comes down to monies going to FSA or NRCS, they put money in pots based on state level and then based on county level. So when they talk about monies going to like the underserved, which would include the minorities, women, things like that, they put money based on these census counts, right? So they are going to put money based on these 65 minority farms or however many women farms. So if you don't report, there's going to be less money in that pot in that county. That's why reporting to the Census of Ag is so important, because it goes down to that county level and it affects those monies that will be available to you at that county level when you go to that NRCS office, when you go to that FSA office, when you go to that rural development office. That's how it all trickles down. So another thing, 1935, the state of Arkansas had just under 1.9 million people. We had 253,000 farms. 2017, the state of Arkansas had 3 million people and had 42,625 farms. We're shrinking. The upcoming generations don't want to take over farming. The average age of a farmer is 58.3 years old. What are we going to do? How will the country continue to sustain itself? Farming is important, but these are the things that we need to track and figure out. So for more information, you can always go to www.nas.usda.gov/ag-counts. Once again, if you need my information, I am Jill Bishop, Regional Deputy Director. I will always be available for any questions or concerns that you have. And my director is Eugene Young. His information is also on this slide. Now, I guess I'm available for any questions you all may have.
Sure.
Jill, do we have?
Yes.
Do you have your email address or your phone number?
Jill,
Yes, I will put it in the chat.
she's gonna put it in the chat box.
Could you call it out for the ones of us that are not on Zoom?
Jill, would you put your phone number back up? Please put the phone number, the contact information back up.
Can she just read it out?
All right, I've placed both in the chat.
All of us are not on Zoom, Jill.
Jill, everybody's not on Zoom. We're connected here from the office. and, to the field. So they may not have direct access to it by way of computers or the phone. So if you can put it up on screen, we're gonna do it old fashioned, and we're gonna write it down.
Can you call it out to us, please, Jill?
501.
Can you hear me, Jill?
It's 501.
With five, right, what's it?
I'm sorry, can you see the screen again?
No, ma'am, we can't. Would you call out your number, please?
Okay, it's 501-218-6593.
All right. 501-218-6593.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, what's your email address?
Jill, Jill.
Got it?
Dot Bishop, BISHOP
Got it?
at USDA.gov.
Got it. The number is 501-218-6593.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
Okay, Jill, there's one other question. Yes, ma'am. How you doing? Yes, yes.
I feel like I have their materials still from the ground, and time the wind blow, whatever come, the lights go off, and I'm thinking about give me a generator, so I'm 64, so I'll be qualified with that money, the grant money.
You're talking about the energy grant program?
So,
Yeah, okay. On the everything on the, and this is, we've got this follow-up back on that, if there's any interest in a particular program. One was the number to call, 3055-650-3055, to inquire through the Forest City office on that. We can work directly with you from our office regarding any of those programs, both on the housing, both housing, the housing program as well as the energy program. Now, I don't want to say yes, it would qualify, and it may not. I don't know if the generator would. That is a big issue. That's becoming more of an issue now, based on what's going on with some of the grids and all of the electrical supply. And it's going to hit the rural areas simply first. But we can inquire about that if under the energy grant program, that possibly the generator would qualify on that. Yes, Ms. Brown.
There is another program, solar program, where they do the solar panel,
Oh, yeah.
and your house, a generator automatically comes with it. And if the power goes out, that generator will click in. And then I think the reprogram is with
On the solar program you're talking about, is that that's under the infrastructure with Arkansas?
I'm not sure, that I tried to myself, but, I don't remember. But she mentioned something called, yes. What she's talking about, and I think this is something out there, but she did say that if you want to. I give you all my name and phone number, maybe email address. I think there's so many people that's left already. I was to the end. My name is Carol Crowell. My number is 870-489-5585. My email is proudc@uapb.edu.
So, hey, could we have, and for the audience, those who are online, have a question that's being asked. A lot of other people online, so anything happening from the audience perspective, you know, they're not getting the benefit of the questions being asked and information being provided. So it automatically feeds out to the audience, only the book up there. So, but anyway, let me just make it clear for those who are online. The lady she had a question regarding the solar panel and the generator program. There was energy efficiency. Mr. Brown with the University of Arkansas at 5 o'clock was providing some additional resource information and how to get the contact information. So if y'all bear with us for 1 minute, we're gonna wrap on this. And ladies and gentlemen, her name is Miss Carolyn Brown. That's C-A-R-O. Carol. No, I'm just trying to like the first name. Okay, Miss Carolyn Brown with the University of Arkansas at Alabama. And University of Arkansas at Alabama. Miss Brown, your phone number is
870-489-5585.
okay, 870-489-5585. Okay, the audience online, you know, there are actually more people online that's virtual than whether they are in the audience. So I just want to make sure you're not getting feedback, everybody's getting the same information. I want to thank you, Jill, with the census information. I want to say this as a point of closing, people. Please get counted. Please, ladies, excuse me, man, you know, it's not just this audience. We got a lot of, and they give more feedback than what they got on the microphone. Too much noise in the audience. We're going to bring this to a close now. But thank Access to Service for their participation on the agenda and all of the other USDA agencies, USDA Rule of Development, NRCS, and FSA. We're a part of this, the Resource Agency and Resource Division. Ladies and gentlemen, we will definitely want to follow up on this. I hope all of you have provided the name and contact information to follow up. If you all have not been getting our newsletter, then we will be adding you to our newsletter list, so you'll receive other follow-up information from me. So we put out every quarter of our newsletter and our news flow. So please make sure you sign in back. I want to thank everybody for your participation, both those online and those in person. This has been good, and I'm hopeful that all of those that are here in person and those that's online, if you all can report back to the mayor. I hope we got a 5-star rating. Thank you.